weekend. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Rachel, and thank you for holding a great program and managing the good of the order. So we won't have good of the order at the end of this meeting since we just had it pre-meeting. But I'm pleased to welcome everyone to our membership meeting. I'm Graham Murphy, chair of the 34th, and I'm officially calling our April 2024 meeting of the 34th District Democrats to order at 7:32 p.m. And let me head over to the agenda here. So we have quite a packed agenda this evening, including a few votes. Most significantly, we have our Seattle City Council members, Saka and Wu here that will be joining us and providing a 30-minute presentation. We'll then be doing a board block vote for our two State House representative candidates. And I also want to note that they will be joining us at our May meeting, which will be in person and giving us a debrief of the last legislative session and also what's next. And then we also have a board block to vote on the no campaigns, which we just heard a presentation about. And so these are member-only votes. In order to vote in these, you need to have renewed your membership last evening or became a member 30 days ago. And then we'll also have two resolutions that are open for any member to vote as long as you are a current active member. And Chris, I see your hand is up. Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I was going to move to approve the agenda. Well, first, let me ask, is there absolutely no room to do a small update? Because I didn't realize we were going to do good of the order this at the tail end of the presentation about the delegation update from the party, the meeting I attended, or can I just put it in the notes?
Oh, sure. Why don't we'll leave that for the end then, for a state party update. Is that what
Okay,
you're saying?
move to approve the agenda with the addition of the state party delegation meeting update.
Okay. Remind me
I
at the end if
second.
I forget.
I
Second.
second.
Are there any objections to the agenda as amended? Any objections? All right. Well, hearing no objections, we'll consider the motion passed by unanimous consent and the agenda is adopted. Here are our minutes for our February, sorry, this should say March membership meeting. Apologize, there's an error at the top there. But for our March membership meeting, which was held on March 13th, these were previously provided to members and PCOs. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Any second?
Second, Rachel.
All right, Chris motioned, Rachel seconded. Any objections to adopting the minutes from our March 13th meeting? Any objections? All right, hearing no objections, this motion passes by unanimous consent and our March membership meeting minutes are adopted. I'm now going to turn things over to our treasurer, Julie Whitaker, to walk us through our financial report for March.
Hi, everyone. Our beginning balance was $15,289.02. Our income was $374.61. Membership bank fees, and we had $50 in change make sense. Our expenses were $783.90. That included our normal ones. Our ending balance is $15,879.73. I keep flipping numbers. Sorry. So as of now, we are $2,005.47 below our beginning balance of our financial year 5/1/2023.
All right, thank you, Julie. Any questions about the financial report? All right, Hannah, can you give us an update on membership? Our membership chair, Hannah Cameron.
So exciting update. We are up to 101 current members, which is really great. We've had just in the last week 6 new members join, which is really awesome. So I haven't been able to scroll through the list of participants, but if you happen to be one of the folks who just recently signed up and are here, big welcome from me. We are this kind of like marks the end of our official spring membership drive. So a little bit later, we'll be doing the drawing for folks, for whoever won the gift basket that we put together. So that'll be coming later as promised. But just because it's the end of the official membership drive doesn't mean that we should kind of take our eye off of that. So we'd love to have as many folks join us. You know, I'm sure you all have heard our asks for additional PCOs as well. So member, PCO or not, we would love to have you. So think about the folks that you're interacting with in your day-to-day life, and if any of them you think would benefit from our membership, ask them. Thanks, Graham.
Thank you, Hannah. All right, thank you both, Julie and Hannah, for that update. I am now happy to share that tonight we are officially opening up ticket sales to our fundraiser. I'm going to turn things over to Rachel Glass to share a little bit more about the fundraiser and how to get your ticket, including using the QR code right here on the screen. If you scan that, you can go right to the ticket booth, so to speak. So Rachel.
Okie dokie. Hi, everybody. I want to first bring your attention to the fact that there is a very famous song that, sorry, there's a very famous song that I think is going to go well with the whole theme of our fundraiser. It's called Catch a Wave, and it's by the Beach Boys, if any of you all remember that. And some of the lines are, catch a wave and you're sitting on top of the world. And I think that is one of the greatest ways that we can look at coming to this fundraiser, joining this fundraiser, building our blue wave and riding it to victory for as many Democrats as we can elect. Now, the only way that we can ride this wave and elect these Democrats is if we have funds. And that's where you all come in. It is very important that as many members as possible join us to help us raise the funds that we so desperately need to elect the Democrats up and down the ballot that are going to help us keep our democracy strong and really keep good policies in place, good legislation, really helping to support our values. This is why we do this, and this is why we reach out to you. We depend on you, our membership, to help make sure that we have the funds that we need to see all our goals to be met. So our fundraiser is on Saturday, June 1st. There is going to be a VIP reception before, and those are always fun. We had our inaugural VIP event last year, and it was great fun. And those are for folks who make special donations that really help push us over the victory line. So the QR code, you Graham, can they hold their phones right up to the screen and just have that?
Yes.
For them?
Rachel, I'm doing it as we speak.
I just did.
Hey.
I'm doing it too. I'm doing it as we speak here.
There we go. Thank you.
Look at all the techies in this group. I'm so proud.
Right. We are trying to make it as easy for you as possible. Thank you. I heard Chris and was somebody else
Bunny.
need to Bunny. Thank you. Thank you all for doing that. If all of you can just take your phones, your devices, and reach out and put them right up to that QR code, it will take you to where you need to go to help us put together a really exciting fundraiser. And did somebody put, here's Carla's got the link in the chat, so please go to that link, and we will be, of course, in touch with you. I am also going to be in charge of helping to gather a really committed group of volunteers. We will have the numbers, the exact numbers of how many folks we need, but it's not a difficult job. It is made easier by many hands that make light work. That expression is holding true for us now. So we are looking for volunteers to help get us set up, help us sit at the sign-in table to help bring folks in, help answer any questions. So I will be in touch with you all to ask and find out if you want to volunteer. We are going to have a limited number of for volunteers, and we're hoping that these are for volunteers, folks who are not able for whatever reason to buy a ticket but would still like to attend. And so we're going to give first priority to folks who would very much like to help in any way that they can to make sure that this event goes well. So I will be available to answer questions. If any of you would like to sign up tonight to be a volunteer, I am happy to sign you up immediately. So friends, what are you waiting for? Let's start catching a wave, sitting on top of the world as we help elect Democrats, and get your tickets to the fundraiser ASAP. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And Chris, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I interested in volunteering, but obviously I'm buying a ticket.
That's okay. We love that, Chris. I'll be in touch with you, and let's we'll get that all taken care of. I'll sign you in.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you. Thank you,
Well,
Rachel.
Rachel, you got me too. I tried to do whatever with my phone on the thing, but it didn't work. So, but you got me.
Great. So Julie and Chris are leading the way in our fearless volunteer corps. Anyone else want to join in? You are more than welcome.
Let's get those tickets and sponsorships going. Thank you. And Rachel, I'm going to now keep the spotlight on you if you want to share the land acknowledgement.
Yes, good. Thank you. Okay. On behalf of the 34th LD Democrats, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of the Coast Salish and Duwamish people, the traditional home of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, Puyallup, and Muckleshoot nations. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering or to this dialogue. I ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land on which we live and work, who are still here. And as part of the 34th Dems' commitment to walking the walk, of taking action that goes beyond simply a verbal land acknowledgement, we are offering ways that you can take action with us by donating to organizations that benefit Indigenous communities in our district and also across our country. So the organization that I am highlighting tonight is Native Action Network. And as you can see, the information is up here on Graham's sharing his screen. I will also put the link in the chat. Please consider your one-time or monthly donation to this wonderful Indigenous-led organization as a way to solidify your commitment to the advocacy of our Indigenous neighbors and to deepen the significance of our land acknowledgement. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. All right, I'd also now like to recognize some of our 34th representatives, our elected representatives. I know we have our 2 Seattle council members here. I won't recognize them right now because they're going to be sharing a presentation a bit later about what's going on with the city council and taking questions and answers. But I did see, I think, a couple of our elected officials join. So first, I want to recognize our representative and House Majority Leader, Joe Fitzgibbon, if he has any legislative updates he'd like to share.
Thanks, Graham. Let's see, the legislative session ended about a month ago. It was a short session. We had a 60-day session this year. The biggest priorities that we tried to advance, we weren't including Representative Alvarado's rent stabilization bill. We were able to get that bill out of the House, although it did not make it through the Senate this year. The thing that I think I'm most proud of in the conclusion of our 2024 legislative session is continued progress on investments in the things that matter the most to the people of our state, including really significant increases for K-12 education, pay increases for paraeducators, increases to school districts for special education and student transportation, which is a really significant expense that impacts our school districts, our K-12 system. Big increases in financial aid in our higher education institutions, rate increases for childcare providers, really substantial increases in our behavioral health investments with a particular focus on young people, as well as on the fentanyl crisis, which is impacting every part of our state, and then continuing to grow a program that we just created in the 2023 budget, which is essentially a Medicaid look-alike plan for undocumented Washingtonians. Our undocumented neighbors are the largest group of uninsured folks in Washington state, and we're making progress in providing healthcare options to that population. So a lot of great work. Of course, a lot of our work in the session was somewhat overshadowed by a topic that you've already heard about here today, which is the 6 initiatives brought by the Republican Party and a multimillionaire. 3 of those we passed, none of which we felt great about, although 2 of the 3 we didn't think really had any actual policy impact. We didn't think they really changed current law and were really more messaging strategies by the Republican Party. Unfortunately, the 3rd one does have an impact. It rolls back some of our police accountability law that we passed in 2021. Representative Alvarado and I and Senator Wynn all voted against that one. That was the police pursuits initiative, but that was enacted, and that will give us time to, we were pretty confident it was going to pass if it went to the November ballot, and we decided it was better. Even though we voted against it, the collective decision by the Democratic caucuses in the House and the Senate was better to have that passed by the legislature than pass at the ballot with 80% of the vote, which is about what we think it would likely have gotten. Then that leaves the focus on the 3 remaining initiatives, which you've heard about tonight, which would do significant harm to our progress on fighting climate change, to the long-term care insurance program, our first in the nation long-term care insurance program, and the capital gains tax, which is so critical to all of the investments we've made in education and childcare and in higher education in the last few years. So we'll be working really hard for the rest of the year to make sure that we defeat those 3 initiatives. But biggest outcomes in the session, I know that I'm most excited about, are continued progress in investing in our behavioral health system, in our healthcare safety net, and in K-12 childcare and higher education. Appreciate all of the communication we get from you all during session, and appreciate your time for me to catch you up a little bit on what we've been up to.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative. And as I shared earlier, we're going to have Representative Fitzgibbon, Alvarado, and Senator Wynn at our May meeting, and they'll be taking Q&A as well there. All right, and I also saw our school board director, Gina Top, was here. Gina, if you have any you'd like to share.
Sure. Good evening, Chair Murphy and 34th. It's good to be here. School board meetings usually happen, board meetings usually happen Wednesday nights. So it's a privilege that I get to be here, and it feels like I'm back at home. So I like to see all your faces, even though they're not all live. The school board, I think, has been busy the past, 4 or 5 months I've been on the board. We had 2 members resign, 2 board members resign, and went through an appointment process with, so I would say robust community engagement, and appointed 2 new board members that I'm very excited about. I can also say I'm no longer the newbie on the board. I get to help tutor 2 new board members. So it will be nice to be on a full board and sort of share the workload a little bit more. We're really working on the sort of $111 million budget deficit that I think many of you have heard about, and what that looks like, and how we make cuts to our budget that have the least impact, or are, how do I say this? Have the least impact on the classroom and the students in the classroom. Also knowing that this is a structural deficit, so how do we make sure that we aren't dealing with this problem year in, year out? The last thing I would say is I'm the one and only board member who does community engagement meetings. I have a monthly community engagement meeting. This month it will be on April 13th at 10 a.m. at the Delridge Library. So it'd be wonderful to see any folks there who are interested. We'll dive a little bit further into what the budget looks like and answer any questions. So I would love to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Top. And so exciting that after just a few months, you are already a senior member of the school board. All right, I am super excited to share that we have 3 PCO appointments this evening to consider. Absolutely critical as we head into this election. And also, if you're a current PCO, want to remind you to be sure to register your candidacy on the ballot in May. But tonight we're joined by Drew Sayers for Seattle 34-1249, an appointed position Build Learning for Vashon 34 Burton, and then Kenny Ryan for Seattle 34-1423. What I'd like to do now is give each of our PCO candidates an opportunity to unmute one at a time, and I'll call on you to just briefly share, turn on your video and sound if you're able to, and briefly share a few words about yourself and why you decided to be a PCO. And we'll start with Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew. I've been in White Center since 2013. I basically joined to be a PCO because I don't know what to do aside from that. I asked my friend Leah if she knows anything I can do to help out with politics, especially local politics, and she said be a PCO, and so here I am.
Awesome, and we're happy to have you, Drew, and this is a great way to get involved. And so happy Leah recruited you to this cause. And now going to ask Bill to unmute and share a little bit about himself.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm unmuted. All right. Yeah, Bill Leeming. I lived on Vashon Island for about 3 years now. I'm an old West Seattle guy, but I moved even further west, and I was just interested in getting involved in democratic politics, and I was recruited by Nick Bonanza. Nick, are you out there?
Yes, here I am. Yes.
How do you pronounce your name, dude?
Yeah, Bonanza.
Bonanza. I was recruited by Nick Bonanza, and I live on the north end of the island, but I'll be the acting PCO in Burton, which is like half in the middle of the island.
All right, thank you, Bill. Sorry for butchering your name earlier.
That's a common mispronunciation. That's all right.
The R and N almost, they do make an M. I don't know why I didn't see that. Okay, so Leeming, thank you. All right, I'm now going to turn things over to Kenny Ryan.
Hi, thank you, Graham. My name's Kenny Ryan. I'm a 36-year-old former journalist who now works remote for Nike as a program manager. I live in West Seattle near Admiral Junction with my wife, Deborah, our 12-pound dog, Sasquatch, and we're expecting our first kid this June. So exciting things happening over here. Why did I become a PCO? Well, I think we all joined the 34th Dems for the same reason. We want to have a positive impact on our community, but What does our community need? Well, that's question is part of why I became a PCO. I look forward to getting out there, meeting more of my neighbors, learning what their needs and challenges are, and encouraging them to fill out those ballots so their voices can be heard. And I look forward to getting to know all y'all in the 34th Dems as well. So you'll be seeing me around.
Okay, thank you, Kenny. I'm going to now read the PCO oath. You all just need to say you accept the responsibilities, and then I'll ask you a question at the end, and then we'll go call for a motion. So here's the oath. And you don't need to repeat after me. You just need to say you agree. So I am willing to serve as an appointed Democratic Precinct Committee officer until December 1st, 2024. I recognize that it is my responsibility to know the boundaries of my precinct and be familiar with its residents and registered voters. I understand that my duties also include providing voters with campaign material for endorsed candidates prior to each primary and general election, get out the vote activities, and new voter registration. Do you all agree to carry out those responsibilities?
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly, I just need to ask you, are you all a Democrat? Are you a Democrat?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. May I have a motion? Can a PCO make a motion now?
So moved. Rachel.
Is there a second?
Second, Nick Bonazza.
All right. So only PCOs can vote, and we'll do a voice vote for this. So if you're a PCO, you can vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? All right. Well, congratulations, Kenny, Bill, and Drew. Thank you for joining the cause again and helping to get out the vote in your precinct. Look forward to seeing you all some more. All right. I'm now going to turn things over to our second Vice President and Platform and Legislative Action Chair, Jordan Crowley, to introduce our special guest for this evening to facilitate this part of our meeting.
Thanks, Graham. So tonight we have our council members, Rob Saka from District 1 and Councilmember Tanya Wu, who is the at-large position 8 council member for the city of Seattle. Councilmember Rob Saka chairs the Transportation Committee. He's also the vice chair of the Public Safety Committee and serves on the Governance, Accountability, and Economic Development Committee, Housing and Human Services Committee, and Sustainability, City Light, and Arts and Culture Committee. Tanya Wu chairs the Sustainability, City Light, Arts and Culture Committee, is the vice chair of the Libraries, Education, and Neighborhoods Committee, and serves as a member on the Housing and Human Services Committee, Land Use Committee, and the Transportation Committee. With that, I'll hand it over to whichever council member would like to go first.
I'll start. Hi, my name is Tanya. It's an immense honor to be here today alongside my colleague, Councilmember Rob Saka. So I take great pride in serving as a PCO for the 37th District. So congratulations to all the new PCOs and thank you for your service. We're also waiting to hear the results of the election for our state delegates for the convention later this summer. So we're kind of all in the same boat, but just want to quickly speak about my background. I grew up in South Seattle, but I did attend West Seattle Elementary for a few years when I was growing up. I was bused there. I'm also an affordable housing developer and provider, a small business owner, community advocate, and I run a group called the Community Watch, where we not only help our seniors, but also develop trust among our unhoused neighbors and provide resources and mutual aid. So I'm going to just start us off really quickly with an update regarding the comprehensive plan. Which is, growth strategy and how you'll grow and invest in communities in the next 20 years. So the plan focuses on like 4 things: housing affordability, how do you create more housing, equity and opportunity, community and neighborhoods, climate, and sustainability. So I just want to highlight a few things that this plan does. It implements Washington's Middle Housing Bill, which is House Bill 1110, adopted last year, requiring cities to allow for up to 4 to 6 homes on residential lots, and unlocks neighborhood residential zones for fourplexes, flats, and cottages. This plan also designates 24 new neighborhood centers where new multifamily development developments will increase supply, and they're within a short walk with transit and amenities. And this plan also expands several regional and urban centers. Urban centers were previously called urban villages. It also adds a new urban center at Northeast 130th Street Light Rail Station. So I was really excited to attend the open house at Chief South High School last week. Got to meet many people. The next open house for the comprehensive plan will be at Garfield Community Center at 6 p.m. April 16th. I will drop a link in the chat. There's also going to be a virtual open house on May 2nd at 6 p.m. I'm trying to attend all of these so I can hear your comments. So please get your comments in. Remember, this is a draft. The mayor's office is planning to put together the final plan, and we won't see it in city council till early next year, late this year. So we'll love to hear what you all think of it. As mentioned, I am the chair of the Sustainability Seattle City Light Arts and Culture Committee, and Earth Day is quickly approaching. So I want to invite you all to our next committee meeting on April 19th at 9 a.m. Where we're going to have a state of our trees presentation, and we're also going to talk about the newly adopted building emissions performance standards, which are energy emission targets for existing buildings that they have to be met over time to help with efficiency and to reduce climate impacts. And that's the day before Earth Day. But if you're looking for something to do on Earth Day, which is on the 20th, that Saturday, I'm going to drop a link for Duwamish Alive is holding several events around West Seattle. I'm going to be at one of them, and I'll send you the link to that one. And it'll be a lot of fun. So I want to briefly talk about public safety before handing this over to Rob, Councilmember Saka. So there is a launch of a new pilot program in Seattle that allows for Seattle Fire to administer buprenorphine after an opiate overdose. So this medication allows for short-term relief from withdrawal symptoms. So this allows for responders to have conversations with people about treatment, possible recovery, possible resources. I think it's going to be a game changer. And so far, the stats have been amazing, people accepting services. So I'm also sure that you have heard of the technology-assisted crime prevention pilot project, which is ShotSpotter, CCTV, and license plate readers. This pilot program combines these three technologies, which that hasn't been done before, I've heard. But this pilot program will only be located in 4 places: Seattle, in Seattle, which is Belltown, downtown, Aurora, and the Chinatown International District. And so I believe the comment period ends this Friday. So this is just a draft. I believe the mayor's office will take a look at everyone's comments, provide a final, and council won't see this until I think midsummer. So I will also include that link in the chat, and I will let Rob take it from here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Councilmember Wu. Thank you, Jordan, for the kind intro earlier. Thank you, Chair Murphy, really for inviting us here today. Really excited to be here. And it's also great to see some friendly faces, familiar faces in the crowd there. I saw Chris Porter earlier, Ted Barker, retired Representative Eileen Cody. We heard from our 34th distinguished current other distinguished elected officials like Gina Top and Joe Fitzgibbons, but it's good to share this virtual space with you all. And again, honored to be here alongside my newest colleague, Councilmember Wu. So tomorrow marks my 100 days in office. Like, it's crazy to think about, but tomorrow is 100 days. So stay tuned later next week, maybe the following, depending. We're going to release our 100-day report, kind of highlight a few things that we're working on, some of which we'll talk about here. And if you're not already on my email listservs, distribution lists, please do sign up. You can do that at seattle.gov/council and just kind of navigate to my page and There's a newsletter sign up feature button. It's really simple. And that way you can guarantee you'll get that 100-day newsletter as well. But it's really important for me and my office to be as transparent and communicative and collaborative and responsive as possible. And one way that I found to do that is to basically carry over a practice that I think my predecessor, Councilmember Herbold, did very well in terms of sharing updates with constituents. So that's something also that's really important to me. We shipped 14 of those already, I think, something like that. So in any event, 100 days tomorrow. I am, as Jordan mentioned, I am chair of the Transportation Committee in Seattle. I'm also vice chair of the Public Safety Committee. And you all may recall my campaign was very heavily focused on improving public safety, and it remains so today. And you know, we're working on improving police hiring and recruitment, expanding and growing the care department so that it is a true 24/7, 365 citywide operation response capability, which it's not today. It's a good start. You got to start somewhere. And, you know, amongst other things on the public safety front, and then on transportation, as chair of the Transportation Committee, I'll say my year one, at least, legislative agenda has largely been set for me by virtue of the fact that I am chair of the Transportation Committee with a minimum $1.35 billion levy renewal package proposal that will be formally transmitted in a few weeks from the mayor's office to the third floor, that we're going to consider on our end at the council's end, and then likely put forward to voters in November this year. So between the levy, public safety, ancillary legislation related to the levy, including the Seattle Transportation Plan, like I said, year one legislative agenda has largely been set for me by those facts. But you know, in terms of some specific activities that I've been up to in these 100 days, really trying to get a better sense of city operations. And I do that through a number of things. I get a ton of daily briefings from various experts, from SDOT, for example, or fire, or any number of the 42 departments, our Office of Sustainability, whatever it is. I request various briefings and get private briefings on these various topics, and also try to balance these briefings and pair that at least with some practical in the field, on the ground experience. So I spent a lot of time visiting the frontline city workers who are actually doing and performing the work. So, for example, I've visited workers filling potholes, and visited the bridge maintenance crews on the lower bridge, and the bridge operator, the guy that literally is responsible for when a boat comes through, opening and closing that bridge. I'm taking a tour soon to the SDOT Operations Center. I've visited the frontline officers, rank and file officers at various roll calls. Just doing things like that to kind of pair it and balance out the theoretical learning that we're all sort of doing as being a brand newly elected official, and with practical application as well. And so that's been really insightful and really empowering for me. And I think it has also allowed me to get very up to speed in a manner that I probably otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And transportation, again, I have the privilege of representing a community, a subset of the 34th in the city of Seattle, that knows what it's like when you go without a bridge, for a critical bridge, for 2.5 years. And so many people, including myself, to be honest, kind of still traumatized about the impacts of the protracted closure of a bridge. So I'm hoping to prioritize, amongst other things, basic bridge preservation, maintenance, and modernization efforts at the city level, whether that shows up in this transportation levy, or on a continuing ongoing basis for SDOT's funding through the standard budget process. Also launched, so community engagement is also really, really important to me. And so I launched my first set of office hours. I meet regularly with constituents. Anyone can sign up and meet in district. Done a ton of those already. We'll continue to do those. It's one of many ways to stay engaged with the residents of District 1 who have elected me and that I serve, and I feel honored to serve. Doing other things as well, doing a lot of these community sessions and tours. Honored today to meet with the 34th, but meet with a number of other kind of community groups in district. I've launched a small business walking tour and listening session. Jordan joined the one for West Seattle, but we did them for all 5 neighborhoods across District 1. So West Seattle, South Park, Pioneer Square, Soto, and Georgetown. And the whole goal purpose there is to better understand from a small business owner and in many cases their workers' perspective, what are the top issues and concerns that they're facing, and how can the city better support them and their small businesses? It should be no surprise that some of the top concerns that I'm hearing relate to public safety, and also the intersection between public safety and our unhoused neighbors, people experiencing homelessness, and then they just want to be better supported as well through various space activation initiatives, through SDOT, making their public right-of-ways like more open, inviting, accessible, welcoming. The Office of Economic Development, the City Office of Economic Development has a number of great programs and initiatives that they like. So in any event, just doing a lot of work to meet with constituents, hear directly from them, and kind of hear their concerns. So that one again was really empowering for me, and we'll continue to do more. But I'm always around, always available, always accessible. I love being in person. Coincidentally, today, right now, I'm in the office still, just because my wife took a trip to the in-laws' house in Federal Way, and to have dinner with her grandma. But I love being in the office, but also love being in a district. And so I don't want to get too comfortable coming in the office every day. You can find me at CMP Coffee. I've seen a few of you all there. You can find me at all the wonderful coffee spots around the district that make it such a terrific place to connect with our neighbors. And so I'm always around. I aspire to be available, accessible, and responsive as well. So, but next week, on the Transportation Committee front, next week, we hope to consider and potentially vote on adopting a resolution that would formally adopt the Seattle Transportation Plan. I have a copy of that right here. This is enthralling reading, by the way. This is, this is printed out. It's 600 pages. And because I try to be as eco-friendly as possible, this is front and back, double-sided. And so this doesn't really do the whole plan justice. It's kind of dog-eared and earmarked with all my notes. So I've been diving deep in that. And as we may know, the mayor publicly announced his initial draft. It's more of a framework for the levy. He announced that last week. And I see a lot of key areas where we align, and look forward to seeing the more granular level details in the proposal. So what's going to happen is now this initial framework was released last week by the mayor. He is seeking public comment and feedback. I encourage you all to provide input into the levy proposal that's been put forth publicly. And then he's going to take all that, capture it, and ultimately release a more detailed proposal that's going to take the form of a formal transmitted piece of legislation. It's going to be transmitted from the 7th floor of City Hall down to the 2nd floor here. That is expected to hit the 2nd floor at the council level early May sometime, late April at the very earliest. At that point, we will kick off and convene what's called a select committee that, unlike the transportation committee, which I chair, is 5 members only, including Councilmember Wu. The select committee is all 9 of us, where we come together and consider and adopt and this levy renewal that will, again, likely put before voters. And so I'm excited for that process. I heard school district director Top earlier mentioning that she is no longer the noob in her cohort, which is cool. With Councilmember Wu's arrival, I am no longer, I guess, officially the noob, although we're both still pretty junior. Kind of an unprecedented thing where you have a net new turnover of 6 new council members in Seattle at once, or probably more appropriately, because we know the number of council members have, it goes up and down depending, but a full 2/3 of the council turned over. And so that is kind of highly unusual and bizarre and kind of cool as well. And also that a brand new council member would be entrusted, yours truly, would be entrusted with the responsibility to kind of shepherd this levy renewal process through to make sure we meet our transportation priorities. And so, but I'm really excited for that. Been steeped in transportation, meeting with a lot of community groups, advocacy groups in the transportation space, meet a lot regularly with a lot of people and organizations. But it's just been a terrific journey so far, early, of course, but I'm really excited about this year. We, unfortunately, it's well documented, but we face some unfortunate budget crisis, more specifically, a $250 million and growing budget shortfall. I had a briefing earlier this afternoon with our central staff experts on the latest with that, because updated forecasts were released by the budget office yesterday or the day before. So that's top of mind. And yeah, so I'll said a lot. I will call out though quickly the opportunity that we have, and I've seen it firsthand in building new sidewalk infrastructure in the city. We should know that District 1, that I have the pleasure of representing, Tanya represents citywide, but District 1 has the second highest number of missing sidewalks in the city. And across the whole city, there are 27% missing sidewalks. And under the current pace of sidewalk production and construction, it would take at least 400 years to close that gap of 27% missing sidewalks in the city. Totally unacceptable. We can and must do better. And I've seen it impacts this District 1 from an equity perspective. I've seen firsthand, while having had the pleasure of knocking on more doors than a lot of people during the campaign. I've seen firsthand the need in Delridge, particularly areas east of Delridge and Highland Park and South Park and Arbor Heights. So, we need to do better in that space. And it's an accessibility issue as well with differently abled people. And it's a safety issue, it's an equity issue, it's a climate and sustainability issue. We want to encourage as many people as possible to take public trans. I saw Representative Fitzgibbons on the bus the other day. But we also need to create the conditions where and focus on those last mile nitty-gritty details like sidewalks in someone's neighborhood to the bus stop that people actually want to and feel comfortable to take and safe to take the bus. So in any event, I'll shut up, but I can't emphasize enough how excited I am to be here before this group and honored I am to serve you all alongside great colleagues like Councilmember Wu. So
I'm going to jump in real quick just to make an announcement. The setting that allows you to send in chats in the meeting here was disabled, and I cannot enable it mid-meeting. So just be aware of that. We're gonna, I guess, Jordan, how do you want to do questions? What was your plan there?
I was just going to open up the floor to questions and ask people to raise their hand, and I'll call on people in the order they pop up.
Okay, great. I do have a couple, Jordan, already that people were sending to me because they didn't know what to do. So just to let you know that I would love to get those folks out of the way when you open it up.
Okay. Let's start with those then. How many are there? Is there like 100 or there?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Now I have to find them on my multiple screens. You caught me off guard.
Okay. Well, Chris, you have your hand up. You can go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll be ready.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Council Members Wu and Saka, for giving us a nice report. One question, Councilmember Wu, can you speak a little bit more to tree canopy and the program that you're working on, particularly as it pertains to communities of color? And Councilmember Saka, can you give us a snippet of what we can expect in your 100-day report? Just a small snippet, a teaser.
Yes, thank you for that question, Chris. District 1, District 2, many communities of color, it's like a tree desert, a little heat island. There hasn't been a lot of attention, especially along Boeing Field. We have I-5 kind of boxed in there, and there are not a lot of tree canopy. And so I think if you are interested, this coming meeting in committee, the link is in chat. I'm so sorry, Carla. Thank you so much for copy pasting and putting that in. But yeah, we're going to talk about the state of our trees in the city of Seattle. And going forward, I think there is interest in looking at the tree ordinance and also looking at how we can save our trees in addition to planting new trees. And so that legislation is currently being worked on. I know there are many council members who are interested in that, but yeah, it's not, we are in a tough situation right now, and we really have to work hard to make sure we preserve our tree canopy and be able to build more, not build, but also be able to build housing at the same time. And that's something that we're looking at.
Thank you.
Yeah, so great question, Chris. In addition to some of the things I mentioned kind of verbally just a moment ago, that'll be featured in written form. So, but with some more granularity around some specific data around some of the things, like the little nitty-gritty things that we're doing in terms of serving people and constituent work that's often overlooked sometimes, but makes a huge difference. So like filling potholes, how many potholes that once someone reached out to our office after engaging through the Find It, Fix It app or SDOT through the standard channels, but weren't getting the responsiveness that our city should give to our residents, and they reach out and escalated to my office, resolving those. How many potholes resolved? How many, so more kind of granular level details and data like that. There's some blurbs in there about some of the really sobering aspects of this job so far. I'll be honest, which is the impact of people and policy decisions, including in top of mind for me right now is the tragic killing of 15-year-old Mubarak Adam, who is a student at Chief Sealth International High School, and that was Seattle's first homicide. Happened the end of January, and so working with the family and dealing with the human impact of policy, not just at the city level, but at all levels through the state. And so, yeah, anyways, so there's some things like that, some more details around some of these listening sessions that I organized and led, which by the way, was a non-trivial investment and effort by me and my entire staff to organize and execute so quickly. So I'm really proud of my team and my office. Very terrific group of folks. If you're curious, you can find more information about them on the website that I directed to you earlier.
Okay, great. Graham, I have a couple of questions in the chat. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and ask those now.
Okay, sure. And then I think
All
we
right.
have 3 people in queue, Jordan, and I think we'll have to wrap up after those 3 folks.
Okay, so great. Where do both council members stand on the repeal of the minimum wage in Seattle?
I'll go
Yeah.
first if that's okay.
Yeah, happy.
Is that for
I-
gig workers specifically, Carla? Just want to clarify.
This came in from Gail Summers. That's there was no mention of gig workers.
I
Gail, do you
assume
want to
it's in the
speak to that?
context.
There we go.
Sorry, yes, gig workers as well.
Great. Okay. So I haven't seen the specific legislation yet. I'm not on that committee, but my main focus is how do we take away that fee and how do we help our bicyclists, messengers, who are the ones who are affected by this. And I've met with many groups, and so I believe we do need to protect worker protections, we need to protect minimum wage, but how do we work together to limit that fee and help the people who are most affected is my focus.
Yeah. So I will say, I think that well-intended gig worker ordinance is definitely having some unintended consequences. And so I think it needs to be addressed. I think it needs to be fixed. I do serve on that committee, which is the governance, oversight, economic, but it'll go, if it passes that committee, it'll go before full council. So we'll all have to weigh in on it. But yeah, so there's a couple things we can do. Nothing. I don't see that as a viable path. We can fix it, or we can repeal it entirely. And I don't support either of those, the first and last things. So question is, how do you fix it? There's legislation being drafted right now that isn't finalized, so I haven't even seen it. But I'll say this, I'm interested in making sure this is a commitment that I made on the campaign trail, and now I'm glad that is over, and because this is the fun part, is governing and serving people. But the same thing is true, is like my goal is that nothing about you without you. And you in this case is impacted workers. You in this case is small businesses. That was another theme that I heard echoed over and over and over again. And the impacts that ordinance is having on our small businesses in terms of drastically decreasing the volume of their orders. So before I make an official decision on that, a policy decision on that, I'm going to make sure I visit and have conversations with all impacted people. And meeting with some folks with labor who've been organizing and rallying against tweaks to this current law in its current form. So that's where I stand.
All right, I'm going to say we probably should keep our answers a little bit more succinct because we do have quite a few topics. And I know Graham's got a time limit. So I'm going to go ahead with, rather than a follow-up on that question, which has been asked, I'm going to go ahead and ask my question, which is, I understand that the council has signed off on a SPOG contract that gives our police a 23% retroactive to 2021 raise. I also know we need to make sure that our police force has a competitive salary based on our region and that they currently don't have that. My question is, what are the people getting for that raise exactly? Usually when you're negotiating, both sides get something, and obviously SPOG got what they wanted. But I also understand that this contract is lowering accountability measures, which I know everyone in this room is all about accountability. So can you help us understand this? Either one of you or both.
So Councilmember Wu took that one first last time. I'll kick this one off. So There is a tentative agreement, as I understand it, with the SPOG contract. It was publicly released apparently on their website last week, and I don't sit. There's what's called a Labor Relations Council, LRPC or something, that certain council members sit on, and the mayor and other people that provide strategic advice and direction and in terms of like what those negotiations look like. I'm not keen on all the particulars myself of this proposed or tentative agreement beyond what you all know, what's been kind of publicly reported. And it has not yet been put before council either. So that's one sort of friendly amendment to the question. It has not yet. The process is SPOG, the union, in this case, SPOG, would have to approve it. And then at that point, it goes before council for consideration. I will tell you that I strongly support accountability mechanisms, and we might at some point need a change in state law because the system is broken, and jurisdictions across this state, including Seattle, are being frustrated by the same exact underlying. It's a systems issue, and so I think to meaningfully change the system, we need a state level change. But I look forward to reviewing the final proposed agreement when it comes out.
So just to echo, Rob, I'm also disappointed in the lack of accountability in this current. I haven't read it yet, honestly, because we haven't seen it yet. It's still going through SPOG's votes. But I think this contract, the negotiation is still ongoing. This current contract that SPOG is looking at that we will see soon brings us up to date. And then the part where it allows for raises, it's retroactive. It's the cost of living raise to make us competitive with other police agencies, neighboring police agencies around us, because we're 16th what's in the state. I don't remember the stats, but we don't pay our officers very much, and so this allows us to be competitive in hiring going forward. But also, I heard part of it was allowing for more civilians to fill roles that police cannot fill, which allows for our care team to fill other roles as well. So it allows for more civilian roles that previously police did. It brings us up to date, but negotiations are still ongoing. So the aspect of accountability is still yet to come.
Great, thank you. Mr. Chair, I would like to beg you to allow a few more minutes of time for the 3 questions we've got hands raised for.
Yeah, let's do the 3. Jordan, do you want to call on the 3 questionnaires and then we'll wrap up?
Sure. First one I see up is Steffi Deeds.
Thanks, Jordan. Hi, I'm Dr. Steffi Deeds. Thank you, Council Members Wu and Saka, for letting me speak and ask my question. I'm a constituent of Elki. I'm a parent with a student at the Elki Elementary School, and I'm here along with Ava Chappelle, who's on the call. As you guys are likely aware, we're awaiting a new school, which is currently sitting as a completely empty vacant lot. And opponents of the school have raised concerns about parking and traffic and safety and noise, which I think kind of falls into the realm of, public safety and transportation, which you guys are both involved with. And while we feel equipped as a school to handle and address these issues and across our community, we want to know if you guys are supportive of implementing more safe streets or safe school street zones across the city, including at our elementary school, so that we have a strong rebuttal to these people who are concerned in the neighborhood about our school going back into the same spot for which it stood for 111 years. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. It's a great one. I am not familiar enough with the all the nuances there of that specific issue. And even if I was, that's a school board citing decision. But I will say, to directly answer your question, safe routes to school is really important to me personally. And I think there's a lot of support and energy and appetite on the second floor of City Hall amongst my colleagues to prioritize pedestrian safety improvements, including safe routes to schools, adding sidewalks. There's schools in the city that just don't have elementary schools that don't have sidewalks near them. But it's not just sidewalks. It's more marked crossing. It's better signage, better street lighting. It's any number. It's a number of things. So I strongly support safe routes to school. And you should know, I'm a fellow parent. I have 3 young kids myself, 3 elementary school age kids. And you should know that you are not alone. This district is number 2. I've seen the demographics data for this district. Is number 2 out of all the 7 council districts, number 2 in terms of population size for under 18 youth. So there's a lot of kids in District 1. And as chair of the transportation committee and someone like just a fellow parent, I feel like I have a personal responsibility to better protect our kids.
I would love to learn more.
Thank you.
Steffi, we also have our school board director on the call or on the Zoom today, so we might be able to get you together. That might be a good connection for you.
Yeah, thank you. I did see that.
Nick, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Nick Benaza. I've got a question. Actually, you mentioned it, Councilperson Wu, about the Seattle comp plan. That's the meetings that are ongoing right now. But the current plan, or the draft plan, I should say, that the mayor's office put out, there's been a lot of builders and advocates that are against the plan, that they don't feel that it comes up short on affordability, livability, and complying with state law. You mentioned HB 1110 also, and the 2 representatives, Representative Bateman and Representative Reed, who are sponsors of that bill, also say they believe that the proposal currently, which I know will change over time, I assume, by the city, will not even enable construction. So I hope, just reading the comments about when the mayor put the proposal out, that there will be changes to it.
I've been to all but one of the open houses, and I plan to go to the rest of them. But yes, that's what I'm hearing at them, that we need to build more housing. We need a more ambitious plan. And so I really do hope that you submit your comments, and hopefully the mayor will hear them and change his plan, but we won't see it until later this year. So hopefully I agree that he'll listen and incorporate your comments.
And yeah, we will have an opportunity once the final thing gets presented, because there'll be another select committee specifically to adopt the growth plan. I'll chair the transportation levy renewal select committee. Our colleague, Councilmember Morales, pointing over there because her office is right next there. She'll chair the comp plan select committee, but we'll go through our amendment process. But look, from my perspective as well, I'm mindful of all these concerns. And during the campaign, I made clear that I'm strongly inclined to support what was formerly known as Alternative 5. This is not Alternative 5. And so we need to do better, but I also want to make sure we go through the process and listen to community feedback as well.
Thank you.
And Lily, go ahead.
Thank you so much for your time. I wanted to follow up on your response on the gig worker minimum wage. In light of the alternatives and some of the issues that you raised, including the cap and the issues for bike messengers. The proposal that Council President Nelson has negotiated was negotiated with Drive Forward, which is an Uber funded and controlled company union or a fake union. So it's basically Uber and Uber proposing a negotiated proposal that they both like. And it undermines worker minimum wage, undermines critical labor protections. Workers are organizing now and would like to ask for your support on something that does address the bike messenger issues, keeps worker protections intact, keeps the gig worker minimum wage intact, and also addresses what the retaliatory fee that the companies have imposed with a fee cap. Is that a proposal, an alternative proposal that you would support for both council members, please?
Oh, I would love to see legislation first, because I was chatting with Working Washington and we were just trying to figure out how to, I think we have to look at we're demanding the data. We have to look at the data to figure out how we help the bicycle messengers. I think the cap is a great idea. It'd be great we could just eliminate that fee in the first place. But I think we're still, I mean, trying to figure out how do we help the messengers. I don't know why they're the ones who are not getting the jobs. So, I mean, the cap is one thing, but I don't know what the fix is for helping the bicyclists. And I think that's something we're all trying to look at and trying to figure out. And then hopefully the data that we are asking for will tell us.
As a follow-up to that, would you both commit to meeting with actual workers in the industry who are not represented by Drive Forward, the Uber funded and controlled company union?
Yes, I think Working Washington offered that option and I would love that.
Yeah, I already planned. So yeah.
And would you support the alternative proposal that the workers are drafting?
I would be open to reviewing and considering any proposal, but without like actual text in front of me, I have this SPD hiring proposal right here. Well, this is the memo, but legislation is a very detailed, like, so talking in principles and abstracts right now is like, again, yeah. Anyway, I commit to reviewing any proposal that is put forth.
Really
All right.
appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. I think we're gonna have to close this up because we do some other meeting business, but I want to thank council members Wu and Saka for joining us this evening, taking questions, and Jordan for facilitating this session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, we are now going to move forward with a couple of critical votes here. So first, the board is recommending a board block endorsement of our representatives, current representatives to be reelected. That's Joe Fitzgibbon and Emily Alvarado back to our Washington State House. We'll now vote on this block. Are there any objections to the block? Any objections? All right, the chair now recognizes Ted Barker for a motion.
Thank you. I move that in a block vote that we endorse both Representative Fitzgibbon and Representative Alvarado.
I second.
There's this first and second. The motion is now on the table. Ted, since you made the motion, I'll provide you with 2 minutes to speak to your motion.
Thank you. I want to speak on both candidates. Let me start with Representative Fitzgibbon. 14 years ago, and my how time flies, he was the youngest representative in the legislature, and now he is the House Majority Leader. He's been fabulously successful, and he was one of the first champions of fighting climate change in the legislature that made it his issue. And now there are numerous people who are claiming, or who are on that same mantle, who are wanting to do that also. And that is like a textbook example of what leadership looks like. He wants to do it. They see him be successful, and other people want to do also. Representative Alvarado has hit the ground running as a new representative. She's really pushing on education, And she's after funding stability and not letting school districts getting blown around as enrollment increases, decreases, and having that funding, flop around as it follows that, Gina Top, who's on this call, can tell you the harm of that, as could my wife, Heather, who's a teacher for Seattle Public Schools. It's a real problem. As many of you also know, I'm on the board for the West Seattle Food Bank and Helpline, and the Helpline does rental assistance, move-in assistance, and we were very interested in House Bill 2114, which she got through the House, and we were excited it was going to become a law. And then by people I'm not going to name here, that's a topic for another meeting, it died in the Senate. So I think she has done a fantastic job. She's the vice chair of the Members of Color campaign, and I think Representative Fitzgibbon is still here. So if he is, I'll yield any time I have left.
I think we're out of time, unfortunately.
Sorry, Joe.
Does anyone like to speak against the motion? Anyone like to speak against the motion? All right. Since there are no other speeches, we'll move to a vote. This will be, we have a ballot for this, I believe. All right, so we'll put a couple minutes on the clock here. Please register your vote. And while we're voting, I'm going to turn things over to Hannah Cameron to share who's won our membership gift basket.
Hey, Graham.
Yeah.
I am not able to vote because I think I'm a co-host.
Oh, yes.
Fix that before the time runs out.
Anyone who's unable to vote, you can text me, Hannah Cameron, your membership chair, your vote. Just text my phone number. It is 206-290-4076. And I am sure that someone with access to the chat can post that to you all, but I will read it out aloud again. You're going to be texting Hannah Cameron. My phone number is 206-290-4076. If you can text me your full name and yes or no, that would be great.
And just a note that, anybody that hasn't voted yet, we are 26-1. So unless you're a no vote, I don't know that we necessarily need to worry too much about getting lots more votes in.
Hannah, do you want to share the winner?
Yes. Okay. I am reaching my hand into the jar of little pieces of paper right now. And our winner of our wonderful gift basket is Steve Strand.
All right.
I'm not sure if he is on the call.
I don't think he's on the call.
But the exciting thing is I have his phone number and email address. So I will be getting in contact with Steve, who is our lucky winner. He will be getting a gift basket that's going to have that awesome Easy Street Records mug in it. It's gonna have freshly picked up ginger beer from Timber City. It's over in South Park. We've got some crafts from Georgetown. We have coffee from a local coffee shop, Lula, that's going to be in there. Nice stack of some 34th stickers among a few other things. So congratulations to Steve.
Thank you. Congrats, Steve. All right, we're going to close this ballot out, but it looks like it will pass. Hannah will verify the votes, but 96% in favor of this block endorsement. And Representative Fitzgibbon, do you want? Yeah.
I will notify KCDCC Endorsement Committee tomorrow to add this.
Awesome. Thank you, Bunny. Appreciate that. And Representative Fitzgibbon, do you want to? Congratulations. I don't know if you want to say a few words.
Thank you, Graham, and thank you, everybody. I
The hour is late, so I will spare you any more remarks. I just wanted to express my gratitude to everybody for your commitment to our democratic values and for your support.
Thank you. All right, we're now going to move forward as we had in the pre-program, talked about these initiatives. We're now going to move forward. The board is also recommending a block vote to endorse the no campaigns for initiatives 2109, 2117, and 2124. The chair now recognizes Carla Rogers for a motion.
Oh, I thought I was.
Oh, okay. Carla, are you okay? If Chris does it, or do you want to do it?
Sure.
Okay.
I move on a block vote to support the no campaigns on initiatives 2109, 2117, and 2124.
I'll second. It's Carla.
All right. Chris, you're now recognized for 2 minutes to speak to your motion.
We're presented now with 3 initiatives that, if passed, will undo some very progressive work that is doing excellent work in the state of Washington. Initiative 2127, if passed, this measure prohibits agencies from imposing any type of carbon tax credit trading. So much needs to be done about the environment, and this is certainly a critical step in the right direction. To undo this leaves us even fewer options to make an impact on the environment. As a beekeeper, I am not able to put out mason bees right now when I should be, because our environment is changing so rapidly, and we have to adjust to those changes. Initiative 2129 repeals billions in education and eliminating the capital gains tax on the wealthy. This is one small step in trying to fix our regressive, broken on the backs of working poor folks, and asking those at the top 1% or even less than that to pay their fair share and to take that money and do the very good, solid work of supporting education across the state. To undo that would just be unthinkable and prove that we're just happy with a regressive tax system. Initiative 2124 sabotages the Washington Care Plan to help Washingtonians afford long-term care. Currently, employees are not able to opt out. And I have to say, as a nurse, on paper, it seems a good idea to give people the option to say yes or no to something like this. But this ends up being something that ends up costing people thousands of dollars when they're when they've injured or become sick and need that long-term care that extends
All right,
beyond
Chris, that's
hospital.
2 minutes. Thank you. Are there any speeches? Anyone like to rise to speak against this board block? Anyone like to speak against it? All right, so the speeches are now closed. Again, PCOs and members who renewed before 8 p.m. yesterday, or new members that joined a month ago, may vote on this. All right, and I think while we're voting on this, in the interest of time, we're going to move on to our next item for consideration, which is a resolution condemning Seattle City Attorney's filing of a standing affidavit of prejudice. This was sent to by the board as a resolution with a due pass recommendation, and the chair recognizes Bunny Hatcher to give a brief overview of this resolution.
Yes, our endorsement committee and the board recommended that we support this resolution sponsored by Kelsey Yankee. The resolution condemns the actions of the Seattle City
Attorney's Office by filing this blanket affidavit of prejudice against a judge whom we endorsed and King County Democratic Central Committee endorsed for election. When Judge Vadati ruled against one of the city attorneys and was upheld, by the way, her ruling was upheld. The city attorney basically, Ann Davidson, had a little snit and had her departing criminal division chief Natalie Walton issue a standing affidavit of prejudice. Now, this keeps Judge Vidati from being able to hear any criminal cases against defendants in the city of Seattle. So, number one, she can't fulfill her duties as a judge. And number two, all the other judges are then overburdened because she can't take on her share of the cases. This is a tantrum, and it's an extreme action that it isn't within really the city attorney's jurisdiction, or she's outside of her lane, is what I think the way we could best describe it. And her decision to do this appears to be based on just policy differences, that she's a conservative Republican and she believes the judge is a liberal Democrat. And so she appears to be basing this on a political policy difference rather than a real legal foundation. And so we are asking, or this resolution asks that we, number one, reaffirm our support for Judge Vidati, whom we endorsed in 2022, and that we call on City Attorney Ann Davidson to withdraw her standing affidavit of prejudice. And we call upon Mayor Bruce Harrell, and Councilmember Saka, and other members of the council, of course, to condemn the actions taken by the city attorney's office, and to keep the judiciary independent of this kind of political pressure. So I would move that the members of the 34th endorse this resolution condemning Seattle City Attorney's filing of a standing affidavit of prejudice against Municipal Court Judge Pooja Bajati. And so I'm making that motion. I'm hoping for
Wait. We're gonna hold on. I think we're gonna recognize Kelsey Van He for the motion.
Okay.
The chair. Thank you, Bunny, for that summary, though. But the chair recognizes Kelsey Van He for a motion.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize I'd be making a motion, but I will do my best. I feel like Bunny gave an excellent summary, and I just really want to underscore the point that
Before you make a speech, you just got to say, I move to pass this resolution.
Thank you. Okay, I motion to pass this resolution.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll give her a big old second.
All right, great. Now, Kelsey, you have 2 minutes to speak to the resolution.
Okay, thank you. Just to underscore Bunny's point, since this resolution was drafted, a higher court has upheld Pooja's original decision, which is what kicked off this feud between the city attorney and the sitting judge. Judge Vidati has been singled out because of her history as a defense attorney, a public defender specifically, and I think that as someone who was proud to volunteer for her campaign when she ran, I heard from a lot of voters that it was important to them to have someone with a public defender's background on the municipal court bench to ensure that, in our zeal to pursue justice, that everyone's rights were being protected. And I think that Ann Davidson is retaliating against Pooja for doing exactly what she campaigned to do, which was uphold the law.
Great. Thank you, Kelsey. Would anyone like to speak against this motion? Anyone like to rise to speak against this motion? Okay, seeing no hands raised, we'll now go to a vote on this. But before we do, I just want to say the no initiatives was 100% in favor of endorsing the no campaigns. So we'll consider that one passed. And now we'll go to this resolution and vote on this. And while we're doing that, we'll speak to the next resolution in support of a House Resolution 227 recognizing the sovereignty of Ukraine and the unbreakable spirit of the people of Ukraine. And the chair recognizes Carla Rogers to speak to this motion.
All right. Thank you, Graham. So this resolution was brought to us by an outside activist, and I'm wholeheartedly happy to sponsor it. Some of you might know that I work with a very large group of Ukrainians, that most of which are out of the country and working from another location, but some are still in the country. And this is a heart thing for me. So thanks for letting me speak to it. If you read through the points in the resolution, it calls out what we've seen and heard for over 2 years now. Hang on just a second. Hold on. I lost my page. Okay, sorry. This was an unprovoked war on a neighboring country. The brunt force of that initial invasion did not cause the country to fall immediately as expected. Putin's military has committed war crimes, crimes against humanity, and other atrocity crimes in Ukraine, including rape, torture, murder, and forcible deportation of children, and the targeting of civilian critical infrastructure. We've seen the evidence for over 2 years. The humanitarian crisis is robust. 30,000 civilian casualties, of which about a third have died. Roughly 8 million people have internally been displaced, and over 17 million people are in need of aid. Unfortunately, the US has not come to the table in a commensurate way. 12 less powerful and wealthy countries have committed more than we have. House Resolution 227, recognizing the sovereignty of Ukraine and the unbreakable spirit of the people of Ukraine, was introduced. Senator Murray and Cantwell have sponsored the Senate bill. This resolution urges our U.S. Representative, Pramila Jayapal, to support the bill in the House. At this time, she somewhat surprisingly has not. The resolution calls for strong support and aid to the Ukrainians who are fighting every day in their country. It calls on allies and partners in Europe to increase national defense spending that will bolster security. If we adopt this resolution, we will send it to the full U.S. delegation and to Representative Jayapal. Now, a personal plea. Again, I have this connection to them. Some of my teammates have literally been on the front lines for over 2 years. I've contributed money to try to move our people, our coworkers out of the country. They're living in a war zone at this point. They're good people, worthy of life, liberty, and the ability to live safely in their home country, just like all of us enjoy in this country. With that, I would like to make a motion to adopt the resolution in support of House Resolution 227, recognizing the sovereignty of Ukraine and the unbreakable spirit of the people of Ukraine.
Is there a second?
I second.
Right. Carla, would you like to speak for 2 minutes to your motion?
Sure. Thanks for allowing this, and I'd like to cede my time to our member and my canvassing partner, Charlene Kahn, who is representing the Ukraine Defense Support Organization.
Thanks, Carla. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I can't see, so I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Yeah, thanks, Carla. This is really meaningful, and I am a member of what's called Ukraine Defense Support. It's a local organization that provides direct support locally to Ukraine military, Ukraine people. And just a bit about some stories I have to do with my personal life. I'm a member of the Dems here. I've got family heritage in Ukraine and friends who live every day in range of attacks by Russian missiles. My friend Maria Zhenkova lives in Dnipro, which is a major urban center in eastern Ukraine. You may see it on the map behind me. In those tense moments just before Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, I felt a need to keep in contact with Maria, and ever since, we talk about every week and a half. We talk, but then our evening conversation stops abruptly because Maria gets an air raid warning on her phone app and sits in the door framing because there aren't enough shelters. Imagine being 24 and your greatest wish is for Putin's death. So last fall, I found a way to see Maria. I went to Poland. and Maria and her mom, Natasha, spent at least 15 hours by train and car to meet us in Warsaw. We walked the old town, drank Polish beer, and exchanged gifts, just like friends do, except they had to return to the war. I actually found a dual opportunity to go to Poland to teach English to high school students through Global Volunteers. Great program. I spent evenings with Ukrainian refugee moms and their children forced to leave their homes, their husbands and fathers. I will always remember Ruslana and her son Kirill, a generous, happy boy who liked making me cheese sandwiches. I hope they can return home. Who would have thought a ground war would break out in Europe, where one country invaded another without provocation and with intent to eradicate it? Russia's genocidal war must be stopped. Help the Jankovas, Ruslana, Kirill, and all the Ukrainians who just want to live their lives in peace. Please support this resolution. And if you have any questions about Ukraine defense support, please contact Carla and she can put you through to me. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Charlene. Anyone like to speak against this resolution? Any speeches against this resolution? All right, we will now open this up for a vote. And while we're doing this, Chris, do you want to share your item that you asked to add to the agenda?
Yes, thank you. I hate when my allergies are starting at the wrong time. So this past weekend, the state party called a meeting to outline what the convention would look like and the duties of the delegation and the delegation chair. And for any of you who've been to a convention in the past, it's usually wild and crazy. Anyone goes to the microphone to make a motion on the platform or a resolution, and that's been changed quite a bit. The last time I was on the statewide council, it's not council, committee, it was changed so that each delegation has their motions go through a delegation chair. The chair then presents them to the chair of the convention. And so they have found a way to orchestrate that. If many of you will know that we had 25 delegate selection options as opposed to 20, and that's because all of our elected leaders are Democrats, and so we got an automatic 5 from that. If we have met those affirmative action goals, we'll get an additional 5, or depending on how much we have met, I think it's like 50, 85, or greater than 85%, then the number goes up, and there'll be additional delegates. The issue of parity, if you get those extra delegates, you have to maintain gender parity and making sure that alternates are managed correctly. So it's a lot of technical stuff, but the point being is the convention has a much different structure than it has ever had in past times. And there'll be more to come with that. So people will need to get prepared to make their amendments to the platform that'll be coming out shortly, getting their resolutions. I think we have unlimited resolutions, but only so many changes on the platform, or maybe I have it reversed. At any rate,
opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. Yes. So most of our work is the platform. So if you're really passionate about what that platform should say about the state of Washington and Democrats and what we care about, don't miss that opportunity. And then we will work to see which resolutions through the delegation, not the LD, but the delegations, which resolutions might meet the floor of the convention to be adopted. And that's sort of the big overview, and there certainly is more to come.
Sorry, I had trouble getting back to the mute button. So thank you, Chris, for that update. We just a couple updates on the votes. So it looks like 100% have voted in favor of the resolution on Ukraine. And I believe last I saw the resolution on the standing affidavit issue was.
I think we should check that one, Graham. I
Yeah.
mean, it was not 100%, so we should
Right.
probably check that. I'm not sure if Hannah's gotten that yet, but I did dump the results.
I think it was like 84 to 16% last time I saw. Yeah, Hannah, is that something you're able to validate or?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get going on that now.
Okay.
Which was the 84%? Was it the city attorney or was
Yes.
it Ukraine? Okay.
Ukraine was 100% adoption.
Okay.
And just to be clear, the Dottie resolution is 22 votes to 5, 81% to 19%.
Okay. So it's a little less than I saw. Okay. Yeah, so a couple things real quick before we close out are just a reminder that our next pop-up social is actually with our friends in the 33rd LD, and it'll be at Elliott Bay Brewing in Burien. Great space for that. We've done that a couple times there, so happy to see them again. And don't forget that filing week is coming up in May. So if you're a PCO, you'll want to make sure that you refile to be PCO for the next term. And our next board meeting is scheduled for April 17th at 7 p.m. And you can contact me for details. Our next membership meeting is on May 8th, and that will be in person. Location to be announced, but it's looking like we'll be at the Fauntleroy Church once we finalize the contract there. And any other announcements before we close out?
Are you in Rome? Are you out of the country or?
Yes, I am in Rome, Italy currently.
And it's 6 in the morning there. Bless your heart.
It is 6 in the morning here, and I will be visiting ancient Rome later today.
And doing like the Romans do.
Not sleeping. Good. Hannah, how much more time do you think you need? I wonder if we should just validate post-meeting.
Okay, I just got the results back, and there is as looks like just one change. So the final vote tally would be 23 in favor of adopting the resolution, condemning the standing affidavit of prejudice, and 5 votes against adopting. 23 to 5.
Okay, so it passes. It looks like.
I literally have not yet done the math because it just came back, but I believe so, yeah.
It would only need 50% to pass, so.
Oh, then definitely. I can do that math in my head.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for making this. Yeah, go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, Graham, one more thing about the pop-up social. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to do other things while you were announcing it, but this month will be a 33rd and 34th pop-up social. So it'll be extra big. It's going to be, a bunch of our old friends who were redistricted. So everyone come out and have a beer with us.
Or wine or non-alcoholic beverage. Yes.
We'll be at Logan. So Logan is mostly beer, but they do have.
Oh, are we not doing Elliott Bay? I have Elliott Bay.
No, they wouldn't give us the space this time.
Oh, okay. So sorry about that. Well, that's what's on the slide. So where's the actual location?
Logan.
Okay.
Brewing, which is right there, right beside City Hall.
Okay,
And we've
so
been
that's
there
in
before.
Burien too.
Mhm,
Okay.
Yep.
So
Kind of
ignore
across the
not
street
not
a little
Elliott
bit.
Bay, but pretty much a half block away. So you'll
Yes, and the details are on the homepage of the website if you need them.
all right. Thank you all. And so I'm gonna, if there's no further business and there's no objection, this meeting is gonna be adjourned at 9:16 p.m. Seattle time, 6:16 a.m. Thursday, Rome time. All right. Thank you.
Fun meeting.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Good guy.